If you're a content creator and you don't have a portable fog machine, then I've got to be honest, you're doing it wrong. See, fog machines or smoke machines, depending on what you want to call them, will make your videos look more cinematic. They'll make them more moody and they'll take them to the next level. I've got at least 4 of them as a photographer and a videographer and a bit of a YouTuber as well every now and again. I use smoke machines all day, every day of my life. And some of them are too big to use for product shoots, so we need to have some handheld ones. Now, we've got a few handheld ones, but just recently, about 6 weeks ago, Colbor sent me the CF5. Now, they did send it to me free of charge. They have not paid me to make this video, and they've not given me any talking points to hit within this video. And all the thoughts and opinions and feelings within this video are my own. Let's have a look, first of all, at the unboxing. I am by no means an expert when it comes to the technical details and specifications of what a smoke machine entails. But I'm a photographer and I'm a videographer and I produce videos here on YouTube. Now, sometimes my job entails using smoke to hide a product's imperfection from a client who's asked for pictures, as an example. You need a good smoke machine to be able to do things like that. You may need to hide imperfections within the room. You may need to completely fill a room behind a model in order to add the ambience that you like. But ultimately, I'm somebody who uses a smoke machine every single day. I've got 4 in total. So I've got this new one from Colbor, the CF5. It was sent to me by Colbor about 6 weeks ago. They haven't paid me for this review. They haven't said that I need to say anything in this review. They just said to me, would you like us to send you one? And if so, can you make us a video for it? So I said, absolutely. But it will be an honest review. And therefore, if I don't like it, just bear that in mind. And they was fine with that. So they stand behind their product, which is really good. We can see here it comes in this lovely carry case. And as we open it up, you can see the handheld smoke machine there. You get a bottle of smoke and you get lots of shaping accessories. You also get a really cool little feature, which is an RGB light and a fan that you can add onto the top. It's magnetic. And we'll look at it in some more details, but it's really impressive. I'm just getting it out of the case here now. It's just a bit tight in here. 1 second, let me just move this out of the way a second, and there we go. So as you can see, it's got a 360-degree RGB light on the top. The chamber is there, and then we've got some smoke bending tools. We've got a remote control, dead simple remote control as well. It's really easy to use. You can power up, you can power down, you can power on, you can power off. Simple as that. The actual machine itself has got a LCD screen on it, and on the LCD screen it tells you all the information you need to know about what it's set to and the different modes that it's got. I think they say it's got something like 25 combinable different modes. So things like high power smoke but low power blower, or low power blower but high power smoke. You can see as well on the screen there that it's got a battery indicator for when you're charging it, and also a battery indicator for when it's not charged. Now, let me just talk you really quickly how you set it up. So the chamber goes in here, and it's dead straightforward. You just plop it in and you just screw it in. Give me a second, we will do that on the camera for you right now. So this is the chamber that you need, and it goes, I think mine was covered. Yeah, so mine's covered, and it tells you a little bit of safety information. How long you need to wait for after you've fitted it and filled it. And this is just to make sure that the coil doesn't burn out, because these coils do burn out, they can burn out. But the great thing, as you can see, is if it does ever burn out, you can just replace it with a new one, because it just screws in and screws out. Whereas if you've got a full-size smoke machine, generally speaking, if the heating coil goes in those, you just need to buy a new one. So there we go, it's screwed in. And then you can see there's a little flap there that you lift up and you pour the liquid into. And you can see it's got some holes on the side, so you can actually see where the liquid is filled up to. This 60ml bottle comes included with it. It's a 12ml chamber, so you'll get 5 fills out of it. in my time of using it, I think I filled it 3 times in 6 weeks, but with daily use. And I have to say, I have completely filled the studio full of smoke, as well as not just the studio, but the rest of the house as well. And you can see here, this is just a little bit of a demonstration as to just how dense that smoke does get. And it gets really dense really quickly. But the great thing is, it also doesn't have to get really dense really quickly, because you've got all these different modes whereby you can have it get dense slowly, or you can shape it, you can put the smoke here, because it's great and it's fun just completely filling a room with smoke. But what you want is for that smoke to be controllable. You want to know where that smoke's going, because it's no good if you could just completely fill a room, but you only want a little bit filling. So this attachment here, initially you've got the fan, and then if you press the button again and hold it, you've then got RGBs, and then if you hold it, those RGBs change colour. And we'll have some close-up detailed shots later on as to what that actually looks like. But that's a really nice effect, especially for long exposure photography. It's a really, really cool effect. And then you can blast it, the smoke comes out, you've got a fan on the top, you've got a fan obviously inside as well. So it brings out like a ring of smoke around the ring of LEDs. Now it doesn't make your smoke a different colour, it just makes the light behind the smoke a different colour. As you can see now from this demonstration, it basically changes the colour of the smoke whilst it's still being illuminated by the light, but the actual smoke stays the same colour. Now, as you've seen here, we can actually twist it into like a gun shape as well. So that's great if you want to run and gun on set, rather than having to sort of stick it out in a certain angle. This helps you get into all different intricate places when you're on set, or wherever you are doing smoke. Now there are all sorts of accessories that come with it. You've got little nozzles to squirt the smoke out really fast. You've got wider ones to make it come out really fast but really dense. My favourite is this one. So this is like a long tube, and it just screws on to this RGB and fan top. So there's 2 different tops essentially. There's one with the RGB and the fan, and then there's one with this adapter. If you put this spongy on the end of here, this will basically create the effect of having dry ice. And I'm sure for anybody that's ever watched any of my videos, you'll know that most of my videos, I do use this effect. And basically, if we watch now, when we hit the power button, it sort of cools down the smoke so it's not flying up everywhere in the air. And you can see within seconds, look, we've completely filled the desk. If we look over to the left, that's completely filled, and to the right, we are virtually filled within just a few seconds. And obviously that smoke's just wafting around, but most of it is staying nice and low down. It's kept it nice and cool so that it's all not going up in the air, and it gives us that lovely cinematic look. And you can see just how much smoke we've actually created in such a short space of time. Apparently it's a 40-watt smoke machine. I don't know what that actually means in relation to other ones. I'm no expert, as I mentioned at the start, but what I am is somebody that uses these smoke machines all the time, and I can tell you the amount of smoke that this puts out is massively impressive. So much so, I would say it's probably, from a density point of view, the most dense one that I've got that's a handheld. Doesn't mean that I've tried them all, but of the ones that I've tried, this is by far and away the most dense when it comes to smoke output. And the other bonus being, it's odourless as well. So some of the other machines that I've got, you do get a little bit of a smell with them. There is one particular brand who I'm not going to mention. Their smoke machines absolutely stink. The Colbor one has absolutely no smell emanating from it whatsoever. Of all the other smoke machines I've got, all of their charging ports are on the underside. Now, you'll probably know, but with a smoke machine, you're going to be using it with it down most of the time. So if you're using it like down on a table or whatever, and you need to charge it, but it's underneath, you're not going to be able to do it. So the fact that they've actually added the charging port to the front of the machine is a godsend. It's compact, it's easy and ideal for studio use, but it's also really good outside as well. The great thing is with this, ultimately, the biggest question is always going to be how dense is the smoke that it produces and how controllable is that smoke as well. Because most people want as much density as possible. Some people want as much density but within a controllability as possible. And I'm here to answer you that of all the machines that I've got a Lensgo and a PMI and a couple more that I can't mention, this is the most dense smoke that comes out, and it comes out quickest as well. So the Lensgo takes a few seconds before it's producing smoke properly. This, as soon as you press a button, poof, away it goes. So this is really good, and it produces the most dense smoke. You've got the most customizability. It takes a little bit more getting used to. I mean, certainly you can just press the power button and press the smoke button and away you go. But as you learn that actually if you put the density up and the fans down, you'll get a waterfall effect, or, you know, if you learn you put this on and it'll do this, and there's loads of different things that you can do. And it will genuinely elevate your filmmaking to the next level. If you're a photographer, I'm going to flash up a couple of really, they're not very good, but they're long exposure photos whereby I've just got the smoke machine in front and I've just moved it around a little bit. Because it's got that RGB light on the front of it, you can create all these crazy smoke and light trail effects together without having to add smoke from a different machine or smoke in post-production. You can do it all in one, and it does look really good. Like I said, the pictures that I've put up are not brilliant, but it was just something I thought I'd add at the very end of this review. Build quality wise, it's really sturdy. It's got a non-slip grip. As anybody who's ever used a smoke machine knows, they do get a little bit greasy. You are essentially burning off an oil, aren't you? So sometimes the oil can get a little bit greasy. The fact it's non-slip is perfect. The battery, it's a 2500 milliamp battery, and it will last 40 minutes of continuous smoke non-stop. Now, the majority of the times you're not going to be using it continually for that amount of time. You're probably going to want a bigger unit if you're going to be using it for that much time. The fact that you can use it for that much time just goes to show you that in a pinch, if you're stuck and you need to fill a much bigger space, this will do it. As an example, my studio over Christmas, because I received this in about November, my studio over Christmas, we decided to do a test of how quickly it would fill the studio. And it filled the studio in about 4 or 5 minutes. And about 2 minutes later, the rest of the smoke had wafted to the rest of the house. So, you know, if really thick, dense smoke is your thing, then you're going to have absolutely no problems with this. And for any members who are watching this video now, they've seen some of the behind the scenes. So I haven't told them what the machine is or that I'm even testing a new machine, but I have shown them some effects where the studio's completely covered in fog. And that was from this little handheld machine. Absolutely crazy. So skipping forward a few weeks, this is about 6 weeks later from the initial opening shots. You can see the desk is much tidier after Christmas, and you can see now that it needs charging, and we've just replaced the oil in it, hence why I've got it's a bit greasy on it and there's oil on my hands. But you can see here, look, you can adjust the fans, so you can change how much smoke or how much fans, and then you can go into the menu and that will change the timer for how long you can set it on the remote control. And then you can have a self timer that will set it off every so many seconds for so long, which is brilliant. If you're just one person on set and you need to keep so much smoke in a certain area, then this will do it for you. And like I said, this is set to minimum here, and then you can just change it, turn it off. Now, I did keep the protective cover on the screen, so I will put some pictures up in a second just showing what it looks like without that protective cover on the screen, just to show you that the screen's lovely. But the left hand side one is how much smoke, and you can see the different settings there. And then the right hand side one is how much fan. So if you have, and I'll put an example on the screen, I think I may actually do it here, but basically if you have maximum smoke but minimum fan, then what will happen when you hit the power button is the smoke will just come out and it will just fall down the sides, which creates a lovely sort of waterfall effect. Now, if you can put that somewhere whereby it's not falling on the smoke machine. If you can put it on set somewhere and have it fall off like that, like a waterfall, then that's a really, really nice effect that you can then create by just literally turning the fan down, but keeping the amount of smoke nice and high and nice and dense. And this is what it looks like with no attachments on. So smoke is literally just coming out, and it's just going anywhere and everywhere that it wishes to go. Now we can switch that around with the RGB. I think I actually put the other one back on because I got it wrong. Yeah. So we can then obviously put on the dry ice machine. Now it doesn't have to be on the table. You can have it slightly above the table like that, and it will just sort of fall down. You are best off, if you want it to sit really low, actually touching the surface that you want it to sit on. It will sit down a lot easier that way, whereas rather than just having it fall down, because then it hits the atmosphere and it moves around, and yeah, physics and things like that. So if you actually touch the surface that you want it to sit on, that generally tends to be the best. Now this leaves the least residue of all the smoke machines that I've used. You will find with all of the smoke machines in the world, they will leave a slight residue because you are basically burning that fluid, and it's just it's like a car that runs on gas or petrol or diesel or whatever. You are burning a fluid, and you will have a byproduct from that burning of that fluid. So it's safe. I've used it on electronics and stuff, so as far as I'm aware, it must be safe. I've had no failures or incidents or issues with them, but do wipe it off after you've finished. So as soon as you can, just wipe it off. But like I say, it leaves the least residue of all of them. We can see here, obviously, what you get in the box, and it really is such a good little machine. That I'm struggling to find anything bad to say about it. I do like to do on this channel an honest review, and I do always like to say, look, if there's a problem here or a problem there, I'll always try and come out with it. But it really is that good. Now I'm going to pause for a second to thank our members. I'm afraid Simca is no longer a member, so I cannot thank Simca. Sad times. But of course I will thank the remaining members, and I do appreciate each and every one of you and all the support that you guys give to me. It really does make this feel worthwhile. So thank you all so much, and in return I'll obviously give you a shout out in each one of these videos. We've got James III, Phil Anderson, Not Here, Han Solo, Dizzy Dean FPV, Only Drones, Barry Morgan FPV, and Mark Duplex. It's $1.99 a month to join them on the members bench. You'll get a shout out in every video. If I haven't earned that from you, that's fine. Do me a favour and just hit that bell notification icon so that you are notified every time we have a new video, or indeed I go live. So I'm here with my able assistant, Boy Wonder FPV, and we've got the Colbor CF5 smoke machine. First of all, good afternoon, Boy Wonder.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. So Boy Wonder is my able assistant who helps me in the studio from time to time. Now he's seen me go through about 10 different smoke machines in the past year. We use smoke in everything we do, whether it be photography, videography, product photos, no matter what it is, we always use smoke. Now, I've got a question to ask, Boy Wonder. How do you rate the Colbor CF5 versus the other machines that you've seen me use this year?
So the other ones aren't as powerful as the Colbor CF5.
Yeah, it does produce a massive cloud of smoke, doesn't it?
Yes.
And the good thing is, with the power buttons on it, you can reduce the amount of smoke it produces if it's too much for the space that it's for, where you are actually filming. So it can fill a massive room, but also at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to, does it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So would you rate this, of all the machines that you've seen, where would you rate this, like out of 10?
Like I would say 9 because, well, the 9 points are because it's great for like cinematic stuff, but since I didn't go with 10, it's because I didn't go with 10 because it makes like a big cloud of smoke. Well, that's good though, but it's really hard to get rid of the smoke.
But that's a good thing, isn't it? If you're using smoke, you don't want to get rid of it, do you?
I mean, you do want to get rid of it after the thing, and you might have to open lots of stuff and you're going to get freezing cold.
Maybe we just need a bigger Hoover.
Yes.
So, are you going to revise your 9 out of 10 or are you going to stick with it?
Actually, I'm going to go with 10.
There you go. Boy Wonder FPV approved. Colbor CF5. So do you think the boys and girls at home should buy one?
Definitely yes.
Boy Wonder FPV approved. Colbor CF5 smoke machine. Now, we always do like to have a look at the negative side of things because we always like to be honest. We always like to have a look at, you know, what may not necessarily be great with it. And I think the biggest issue that I've got with this in comparison to one of the other machines that I've got is that you cannot charge it and use it at the same time. So that's the only negative. But I mean, it doesn't take very long to charge and it lasts quite a while. You have got a battery indicator on the front as well to know when you're going to need to plug it in. And I think that's probably the only negative that I can find with this, if I'm completely honest. So as always, as we get to the end of these videos, we ask the question of, is it something I would recommend that you buy? If you are a content creator, if you're a filmmaker, a videographer, or a photographer, then smoke has its place. You probably shouldn't use it as much as I do, but I would absolutely recommend that everybody who creates content, be it a videographer, photographer, YouTuber, or in any other way, shape or form whatsoever, has a smoke machine. This is small, it's portable, it's compact, it's affordable, it's the most dense. You can shape the smoke in any way you want. You can control it. It doesn't become uncontrollable either. Therefore, I would highly recommend that you pick up a Colbor CF5 portable smoke machine.